It's hard to believe, but before Elvis Presley became the king of rock and roll, he almost didn't make it past the first night on the Louisiana Hayride. In 1954, a young Elvis, with his unique blend of country, blues, and rhythm and blues, took the stage alongside musical legends. But first things first, he had to navigate a logistical mess and outsmart a rock and roll superstar's temper. On that fateful night, Elvis, Scotty Moore on guitar, and Bill Black on bass were set to perform. However, the evening's headliners, Hank Snow and Webb Pierce, were top draws with solid record sales. The station manager, Horace Logan, had a tricky situation on his hands. Elvis was scheduled to play before the intermission, but once he finished, the crowd went wild, demanding more. They were so captivated by the 19-year-old's energy that they forgot about the planned headliners. To make matters worse, Elvis's guitar strings broke during his set. Legend has it that George Jones, a seasoned performer, knew exactly where to find a replacement. But Jones warned Elvis not to borrow from Elvis, meaning he shouldn't take from the star's gear. Elvis's wife, known for her kindness, stepped in and lent him her guitar. Elvis scratched it up in the process, but that's a story for another time. The incident showcases the raw talent and charisma that made Elvis a force to be reckoned with. His reputation for treating his gear like it was made of gold was well known, but on this night, he proved he was willing to go the extra mile for his music. A local guitarist, Scotty Moore, remembered the moment and later said, "I knew right then that Elvis was special. This early challenge only fueled Elvis's fire." He went on to sign a historic contract with the station manager, committing to perform on the Hayride for 47 of the next 52 Saturday nights. For his efforts, Elvis pocketed $18 per show, while his bandmates Scotty and Bill took home $12 each. The contract was witnessed by none other than Vernon and Gladys Presley, Elvis's parents, who must have had no idea just how big this gig would become. As Elvis's career began to take off, so did his influence on the music scene. In 2004, a CD anthology called Concert Anthology 1954 to 1956 showcased 7 of his early Louisiana Hayride performances. Listeners could hear the excitement in the air, with Bill Black's energetic bass lines and Elvis's playful banter with the crowd. It was music that felt raw, honest, and undeniably exciting. Elvis's early days on the Hayride were a mix of learning experiences, close calls, and moments of pure magic. As he honed his craft, he drew inspiration from the legends around him, eventually developing his unique sound. From the blues-infused Milk Cow Blues Boogie to the playful You're a Heartbreaker, Elvis was already showing signs of the star he would become. His ability to connect with audiences, his willingness to take risks, and his extraordinary talent would soon propel him to rock and roll fame. This early chapter in Elvis's life serves as a reminder that even the biggest stars begin with small, uncertain steps. And sometimes it takes a little bit of improvisation and a whole lot of heart to make it big. Elvis Presley was on a roll in 1955, performing with his brothers Jay and Clayton on a popular show. But backstage, things were not always smooth. Clayton had some tough thoughts about Elvis's friend, Elvis Presley. He thought Elvis was gay. Meanwhile, Jay believed Elvis was a bit of a sissy, but Elvis himself was focused. He knew he had a contract with Sun Records, and he wanted more. Around this time, another country star, Eddie Arnold, had a hit with a song called I Wanna Play House with You. This fun phrase inspired a new blues song called Baby Let's Play House. Arthur Gunter wrote and recorded it in 1954. Elvis loved how cheeky and playful the song sounded. He recorded it on February 5, 1955, and it showed his fun side in the studio. Johnny Burnett heard it and was so impressed, he made his own version called Oh Baby Babe. Even the Beatles later used a bit of Elvis's song in their track, Run for Your Life. In the same period, Elvis recorded 2 more songs. One was Ray Charles' I Got a Woman, which showed his ability to blend different music styles. The other was Trying to Get to You, another song that had been popular before Elvis recorded it. Elvis planned to come back to these songs later. Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, had an office in Chicago. But a man named Scotty thought it was someone else and wrote to the office asking about gigs. The reply was not very nice, saying there weren't many chances for country singers like Elvis in Chicago. However, Colonel Parker saw something special in Elvis after seeing him perform in Memphis. He realized Elvis could be a big star but told him he wouldn't succeed with Sun Records. In Texas, Elvis was playing a show in San Angelo. A young man named Jerry Naylor from the band The Crickets saw him perform. Jerry was amazed by Elvis's energy and how the crowd loved him. This was a moment that made Jerry realize the music world was changing. Around the same time, Elvis was recording in Houston. He played songs like I Got a Woman and Baby Let's Play House. He also tried out a new song, Charlie Feathers' Fool, Fool, Fool. Elvis had a lot of energy, even laughing so hard he almost couldn't sing during Baby Let's Play House. Elvis's song Baby Let's Play House, along with another track I'm Left, You're Right, She's Gone, was released as his fourth single from Sun Records in April 1955. These songs were a big deal, and fans knew the special numbers from Elvis's Sun singles. While Elvis was still building his career, another singer named Marty Robbins had a country hit by copying Elvis's song, That's All Right, Mama. Marty added some fiddles and made it his own, but he didn't give credit to Elvis. Despite this, Marty's song did very well, reaching number 7 on the country charts. In May 1955, Elvis had some big shows supporting Hank Snow on tour. Country singer Wanda Jackson was impressed by Elvis's charisma and how he could make the crowd go wild. She even became friends with him. Another performer, Tommy Collins, was amazed by how Elvis's shows turned into an orgy, with fans trying to get close to him. Colonel Parker had to carry Elvis to safety through the crowd. Boren Axton, who worked locally, was really impressed by Elvis's impact on audiences. She talked to him and said she wanted to write his first big hit song. In June 1955, Elvis, Scotty, and Bill were playing a gig in Alabama when Ray Sawyer, who later became famous as part of Dr. Hook, was in the crowd. He saw Elvis's unique style, a mix of country and black rock and roll, and realized he was something special. Back in the Billboard music charts, Elvis's songs were finally recognized as country music. Baby Let's Play House reached number 5, and another song, I'm Left, You're Right, She's Gone, stayed on the charts for 3 weeks. This was a big moment for Elvis, showing that his music was gaining serious recognition. Meanwhile, a friend of Stan Kessler who worked at Sun Records came up with a new song called I Forgot to Remember to Forget. Elvis loved it, saying it was a great song. However, Charlie Feathers, another new artist at Sun, kept the song for himself, wanting his own hit. This shows how competitive the music scene was back then. As Elvis's fame grew, so did the interest in his music. His unique blend of styles and his ability to connect with audiences made him a force to be reckoned with in the music world. In 1955, a small but significant moment in music history unfolded at Sun Records in Memphis. This is where Elvis Presley first recorded his songs, starting with Cry, 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 and Hey Porter. These songs didn't hit the charts right away, but eventually found their place in the country music listings in November. It was a slow start, but it marked the beginning of something big. Elvis wasn't the only one making music there. Carl Perkins also released his first single on the same day as Elvis's final Sun session. Perkins' song Let the Jukebox Keep on Playin' showed a different side of rock and roll. It was about enjoying the music, not just the excitement. People like Mort Schumann, a songwriter in New York, and Sleepy LaBeef, a rockabilly performer, were amazed by what they heard from Elvis. They saw something fresh and exciting in his music. Sleepy said Elvis got the beat from old Southern gospel songs, which made sense since Elvis grew up listening to those songs in church. British musician Joe Brown loved the honesty in Sun Records music. He felt it was pure, without any fancy producers changing it. This raw sound was part of what made Elvis's music special. Elvis's homecoming in Tupelo in August 1955 showed just how much people loved him. Over 22,000 fans showed up, and the city even gave him a guitar-shaped key to the city. Elvis wore a shirt made by his mom, showing how humble he remained despite his growing fame. Around this time, Elvis met with DJ Fontana and others in the music scene. They talked about the struggles of making a living from music. Elvis was often the one supporting his bandmates financially because they weren't earning much. Elvis's first big deal came on August 15, 1955, when he signed with Colonel Parker. This was a big step, even though Elvis still had to work with Bob Neal for a bit. Colonel Parker had big plans for Elvis, wanting him to make 100 appearances in a year and earn $200 per show. This was a lot for a young singer, especially since he was still under 21 and needed his parents' permission. Elvis's final session at Sun in September 1955 was for the song When It Rains, It Pours. It was a blues song, and Elvis was joking around during the recording. But the session ended early because Sam Phillips, the owner of Sun Records, wanted to talk business with Elvis. They were likely discussing Elvis's new contract with Colonel Parker. Elvis also signed a new deal with the Louisiana Hayride, a popular music show in Shreveport. With Colonel Parker's help, Elvis's pay went up to $200 per appearance, but this also meant he had to perform more often in Shreveport, which wasn't great for his freedom. Elvis's influence was already felt by other musicians. Tommy Sands and Buddy Holly were among those who were inspired by Elvis's energy and style. Tommy remembered Elvis's confidence and how it drew crowds. Buddy Holly even started playing Elvis's music after seeing him perform. Meanwhile, Pat Boone, who was seen as a clean-cut rock and roll star, was also popular in the mid-1950s. He had hits like Two Hearts and Ain't That a Shame. Though he wasn't considered a true rock and roll artist, he played a role in bringing the genre to wider audiences with his more family-friendly songs. Elvis's journey from a small-town musician to a national sensation was just beginning. His raw talent, combined with the help of people like Colonel Parker, set the stage for his incredible rise in the music world. Despite the challenges and the pressures of fame, Elvis's early days at Sun Records laid the foundation for his legendary career.